He got it done. He got it done. He got it done.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new
And
day,
we're real
it's a
day.
new life for me. I just had sex.
Y'all.
I know that's a strange thing to start a podcast with, but I needed to tell everyone.
Well, as our sissy who came at us on our Facebook group just said, I just came here to see if Poodle got fucked. And the answer is yes.
Yes. I will tell you, it feels like every cell in my body just went, fine, great, thank God.
Like just your atoms are all just smoking a cigarette
Yes.
right now.
No, they just went, God, we've been waiting for that. I've really been waiting. It took you that long? God, I didn't know what peace was like.
Was there any small talk when he came over?
A little bit. I did.
For our new listeners, this is one of his old paramours that he had entertained quite often.
This is someone who I have seen more than once, but I was
on a COVID plan.
I was concerned that he was not being as careful. And I have been. I've been because I don't want COVID, y'all. I'm not. My lungs aren't great. So if I got COVID, it might be the end of moi. So I got tested. He got tested. We just decided we finally made it work. And he literally came over in the middle of the day. That's my favorite kind of thing, to be honest.
I mean, in the bright dawn of day.
The bright day.
I just realized this is a podcast about Plathville. And thank God it's on our Patreon, because if this is free, some of those Plath children might turn into this and just go, can you see Lydia right now? Mama, what are they talking about?
We're putting this on the free feed. Like 1 and 2 are on the free feed.
That's true. We are going to drop this.
Sorry, Lydia.
Sorry. So 90 Day Gays fans, welcome. Welcome.
But it was great. I feel good. It didn't last for very long because it was kind of like the powder keg had already been packed real tight.
Boom.
So yeah. If you heard something adjacent to Hollywood, it wasn't necessarily a sonic boom. It was more like and you heard which is the sound I make. Like a mule, a braying mule, then that was it.
I'm like,
but I feel better now. It was good to get it done.
Good.
Yep.
I'm proud for you.
It almost feels like you know how when you're horny for a while and you haven't had sex in a while, your skin feels like it's not your skin. And everything is just itchy all over. And you're like, I cannot function in this world anymore. And then you get pounded and like a piece of cube steak. And then life's fine again.
And life's gravy.
It's today.
Anyway.
Plathville, what are we talking about? Yo, welcome to Plathville Season 2.
Welcome. We don't have a theme song yet because, y'all, we're trying.
I had to have sex.
Poodle,
just to be frank,
he had to get fucked, and he couldn't think of any.
Had to have sex. I need to get banged. I need to get stuffed like a piece of veal.
And then I immediately began to think of lyrics for a.
Immediately, they popped in my head.
He's like, "Oh, that's it." So y'all,
I just solved a quadratic formula.
You did. Welcome to Plathville Season 2. You're asking, where's Season 1? We didn't do Season 1.
We didn't do it, and we're not going to.
We might. We're gonna redo all these old seasons when like something happens.
We don't have anything to do.
We have nothing to do.
And we're in a fucking COVID fallout shelter.
Exactly.
Because no one will wear a fucking mask.
We did do it, and it's on. It was
did
a while
by
ago.
Curious.
We did it by Curious. The first episode of Plathville, which you can, and we liked it then. We just were doing other stuff. I have to say that I've made a decision, and I don't know when it's going to happen.
I'm glad you've consulted me.
Yeah, I don't know when it's going to, but just because we're going to have to do season 2 of Love After Lockup, but I just don't know when. But I need to see. We've got to find out. I need to know what happens with Clint. I need to be on that ride. I need to see it from the beginning. We only watched one episode of Clint, but I love it.
Why did you take us here? We're talking about Plathville.
I know, but we're just talking about our Patreon and people in the Patreon.
We're going to go back. We're going to go back.
Did we make that decision?
No one said we're not.
Okay. Well, I just decided. Not now, though. We don't have time to do this. Y'all, it's going to be 2023 when we do the musical episode.
Yeah. Keep waiting on that one. It's not our fault, y'all. Season 8 of 90 Day Fiancé just got announced this week. It premieres December 6th. So if you thought you were going to get a respite from us, you're not.
You're not. And if you thought that you were going to get a break from us from Love After Lockup for our patrons on the $8 tier, you're not, because we're doing a crossover next week with the Cray Crays. Well, they are the Cray Crays. With Kyle and Kim. Gay Cray. It's a Gay Cray crossover, and we're going to talk about the people that we know that are going to be on Life After Lockup. And
3 couples from this season.
Yes. And they're going to fill us in on the hot messes that we missed before, so we don't have to watch 72 episodes of Life After Lockup or Love After Lockup.
I've been doing some research already, so I know a little bit.
So, I mean, we watched one episode of season 2, but that was forever ago.
I don't even remember it.
I just remember Clinton and his mother, which is why
and his ex-wife boss, who worked at the hotel, and her hair, and his mother, and he had to go to the butcher shop. His mother said,
"Wait to watch that.
Pray about it.
Pray. I can't wait to go watch that season. I can't wait." Anyway,
we're talking Plathville now, though, y'all. Okay,
we love this show. You said it. I said it.
I love this show.
I do too.
I had watched like episodes 1 through 4 a while back, and I had kind of rewatched them, and I thought this is not just a show. It's one of those big family shows that TLC does. This is a show about kids learning how to be who they are. This is a show about identity. And that's so cool because you rarely get to see that, especially on TLC.
Especially on TLC. I also think it mainly is about kids. Oh my gosh, I'm in this Airbnb and I'm in a different room, and I just looked, and the painting in front of me is so crooked, and I never noticed it, and I'm going to have to look at it this entire hour and not think about it. OCD.
It's totally not a big deal.
Fine. But I was going to say, it is about I think mainly the kids and identity, but I think it's also almost as if, to me, not a warning, but kind of just a note for parents, because I think there are some parents that think they quote unquote own their children, and they own their belief system, and that they could, as long as they just train them.
Yeah,
train them to be this way, their kids will turn out exactly the way they want. And y'all, as soon as that baby comes out in the world, they do what they fucking want to do.
The parents are doing it under the guise of quote unquote doing the best for their kids, and making it so that the kids will be children and can grow up in a beautiful way, or whatever the fuck that means. You guys, you can take on the world, or you can retreat from the world.
That's the truth.
This is the world we live in. And let's just jump right in. I'm going to say right now, first
we didn't even talk about how we're going to do this. We just started doing it.
I think we'll just do it
like our normal shit.
We'll run it down.
We'll do it live.
We'll do it live.
We'll do it live. And Poodle did it raw. He did it live.
No, it was safe.
But why? You're on prep. You've been taking 8 months to build up a prep for nothing.
You know what? It's not all about me. It's about what the other person is comfortable with. So it was fine.
What happened?
Sometimes people use condoms.
Did he look at your ass and go, "Well, that's been ridden. I better strap up"?
Why are there flies buzzing around it? He's like, yeah, I'm gonna need a condom. That's disgusting. Why is there hazard tape around it?
I'm so sorry if any of the Plath children are listening to this show.
Lydia's like, wait, they have sex in their butts?
But Lydia's like, I gotta go in my prayer closet. I gotta get in there. I gotta get there real quick. Which I'm kind of jealous of. Anyway,
oh my God, I would give anything for a prayer closet.
I want a prayer. A lot of people thought it was weird. And I was like, this isn't weird
no,
at all. This is fantastic.
Wonderful.
Yes.
It's your own little place where you can go and like pray your prayers or say your affirmations. Yeah. You can close the door and Mama Plath with her bad lipstick and her bad blush and her weird mouth, she's not even there. We're going to talk about that weird mouth.
Little corner in my own little chair.
I can pray whatever I want to pray. I love it that she had things all over the walls. People probably found it a little weird, but that's Lydia's way of being spiritual. That's her way of working shit out. Yeah. By the way, this season, the star, if last season's star was definitely Moriah.
It's Lydia.
This season is Lydia. It's Lydia. The star. Lydia is the breakout star.
And I'm going to tell y'all now, there's nothing wrong with prayers on the wall. It's just a Christian, it's a Christian vision board.
Don't make it fucking word art, though. No.
By the way,
don't put footprints on your wall.
We've heard what you said, and I will be talking. We will be designing a Live, Laugh, Lube shirt, or Eat, Pray, Lube shirt. Eat, Pray, Lube.
Eat, Pray, Lube.
We will Eat, Pray, Lube. It will be in the works, available just in time for your holidays.
Oh, what a thoughtful gift for your mother-in-law.
Please get that for your mother-in-law and have her opening it and film it and said.
And please send it to us.
Oh, Cardi, that's so sweet. Oh, I love that movie with Pretty Woman. Oh, that's so Eat, Pray, Love.
Wait, she wasn't in that. Who was in Eat, Pray, Love? What? Julia Roberts in that?
Yeah.
No. Yeah. We don't know. I don't care.
Hey Siri, who was in the movie Eat, Pray, Love?
Eat, Pray, Love features Julia Roberts.
There you go.
Oh,
James Franco.
Oh God, she had no business, none. Anyway. I want to talk about the show first. You guys, we're going to give you a little primer, a primer on season 1.
Is it not primer? Why is it primer?
Primer is usually paint related. Maybe you can pronounce primer.
No, I'm
primer.
Asking. I didn't know that.
Usually, primer is like a little bit of a guide or a first issue.
I've never heard primer.
Really?
Well,
I've heard it pronounced that way before.
From Oklahoma. That pig probably understood it, and I didn't in the classroom.
That pig was Oinky was the valedictorian. I tell you what, Oinky could probably use the quadratic formula.
Don't know.
I've forgotten how to do it.
I mean, your skin is brighter. Your eyes look greener. Boy.
Wow. The world is a beautiful place.
Wow. Did you just lay there in bed after he left and just like, is that like what, like when, was it like when that movie Contact, when she goes over to the other side and Jodie Foster's just like talking to her, oh, is that my dead uncle or whatever she's doing or.
Grandpa, do you remember me? It's Jodie Foster. This is also my Holly Hunter.
It's true.
My Holly Hunter voice is the same thing as my Jodie Foster voice.
It's true.
It's the same voice.
It's true. Talking that stuttering mouth. Kind of.
There was another person who I also used that same voice for, and I can't remember who it was. But all Southern
tough women.
All Southern tough women.
Yeah.
I use someone else. I can't remember. This is definitely my Holly Hunter voice. So you guys, let's talk about Plathville and the family. So the first season had 6 episodes. It's definitely worth a watch.
It is.
It's compelling television. The Plaths are a couple. They are Kim and Barry Plath, who live in someplace in South Georgia. It's close somehow to Tallahassee. You know, that weird.
Yeah, I think Cairo is the next new town.
Yeah, Cairo, which is not Cairo like Egypt, but Cairo, Georgia. Angela would correct us. It's Cairo.
It's Cairo.
So they have 9 children. So they're a family of 11.
They had 10. No, yes. I mean, I just think that's important to. Sorry,
that was season 1.
No, but I mean, yes, that was really y'all.
We're going to talk about that.
It's really sad.
We're going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about all the children.
Okay.
First of all, they live on this kind of like big 55-acre place, and it's as Father Plath says, who's a fucking cheese ball. It's heaven on earth.
But he's got a huge dick.
It's a huge dick,
huge
but
baby making
he's
dick.
Like bad dad who cracks jokes and is always trying to like kind of keep control of the conversation and trying to like it's like bad. He's the worst father.
Can I just say something and get this out of the way?
You're going to anyway.
Sometimes, not all the time, not really in this episode because he was such a fucking asshole in this episode by the end of it. But in parts of season 1, y'all come at me if anyone would get dicked down by Father Plath, because
not me.
Sometimes there's something attracted to him about me, and I don't understand where this comes from. I'm thinking
you're wrong. That's trauma. Something's wrong with you.
You know, as I just said it, I think it's that part of me wanted to sleep with my 4th grade social studies teacher, Mr. Waller. He used to play piano at the Lone Grove Baptist Church. I don't know if he ever came out. I think he loves the Lord, but I remember he used to cross his legs whenever we get upset, and he put his hand on the podium and he'd look at us and point us and he'd say, "Now, people, I'm trying to teach you something." And that's exactly the way he said it.
So you're dealing with that trauma because
maybe
you need to really process that. Honestly, you're incorrect.
He wore a hat. I don't like his bald spot or his weird oblong head. Not Mr. Waller. Mr. Waller had a full head of hair. But Daddy Plath, I think if he had like a baseball hat turned on backwards, I could get into it.
I'm going to push through because I just can't.
I'm just being honest.
Please don't interrupt me as I'm trying to talk about things. That was awful.
I'm just, honesty's never awful.
It was for me. It was hard for me. I think less of you now. You're pretty much the same in my book, actually. So we've got first we got 9 kids. I'm going to tell you right now, the kids we're not really going to talk about. We're not going to talk about Hosanna, who's the oldest.
I think she's chosen not to be in it.
She's chosen not to be in it. Well, she's living in Ohio. She's some kind of like, she's a violinist who plays in contemporary Christian. She goes into concerts and stuff like that.
She got a music scholarship, but her mom said, don't go to college.
But her mom said, there's no use for that head learning.
Y'all, and y'all think this is weird, and I'm going to talk about them a lot, but I've
heard that before.
My cousin Lolo and her family out in Oklahoma, we have a section of our family that they're just kind of gross, horrible people, to be honest. Well, not all of them, but the parents are. And
don't pull any punches. Go right ahead.
They are. Sorry. Her and her husband are both pieces of shit, and they are the most, bless their hearts. They're living in the word of the faith and everything, but they treat people horribly and lie. Anyway, so I'll drag them. I don't care. But I'm just saying, this isn't that uncommon. I think where we're from, that is them. They're building this land. They're building kids. She discouraged all of her kids. We have one cousin who we're trying to kind of one of them that we're trying to sneak to get her into nursing school because she just wants to go be a nurse. And they're so worried. She said, "You're going to get raped in college. Why would you go to college?"
It's real.
So it's real. That's why I bring it up. Not to talk about it, but this is real.
And fill your head, and liberal professors fill your head full of bad ideas because you can't decide what's right or wrong.
Yes.
So there's Mama and Daddy Plath, Kim and Barry. They kind of, as they've described in season 1, they made questionable choices, and Mama, and they both don't drink now because they really decided that they didn't want that for their kids.
Well,
so
Kim talks about her mother getting the shit beat out of her whole life, and she talks about that her mother was an alcoholic until she was 15. So that's horrible.
So, but it tells you everything about what Mama Plath is basically sins of the father. or sins of the mother in this case.
Yes.
Here you go. Here's all dad and my inherited shit that we're going to put on you, and you're going to have 3 square meals every day of it. And I don't care how you are. I have zero empathy for Mom and Daddy Plath.
I don't, but as I'm watching this, I think after seeing season 1 and watching this second episode, I thought, I have no empathy for them. I think what they've done to their kids is from my standards, pretty gross. And
it's terrible.
I'm going to try to
You can try to understand it like I am.
try to understand it and gain a little bit of empathy for them. It's like a personal goal in watching this. We'll see if I make it, because they might just get worse and worse.
This first episode of season 2 should have disabused you of that notion.
No, I'm going to say, because by the end of this episode, I was like, whoa, those are some gaslighting motherfuckers.
And they're awful.
They're pretty horrible to their kids.
So anyway, that being said, the first couple episodes of the first season, y'all, were kind of like, well, the Plaths are weird, but so what? They don't let their kids have soda. They don't let their kids have sugar. They can have honey.
Mm-hmm.
They don't listen to rock music. No restricted internet. Blah blah blah. It's a little Church of God, if you know what that is. But
we don't
know
religious. We don't know what religion they are actually, though.
They're their own kind, which is even weirder. They could be fucking Heaven's Gate cult, as far as I know. Although we would know because they're not wearing kind of like gender neutral hairstyles and all black shoes.
I want to fix Lydia's hair so bad.
Oh,
I just want to give her the makeover. Oh, please.
She's got like Southern Baptist girl makeup too. That kind of foundation that's thick and covers. And even though she tries to cover just some blemishes that kids normally have, it just looks even worse.
Well, none of them have. Look at their mother, and you see where the makeup tree falls from.
Oh, first of all, so I don't know what I have more of a problem with as far as Kim's makeup choice. For the blush is terrible, or maybe it's rosacea. I don't know. Maybe a combination of the two. She has this kind of weird fish mouth that she has way too many teeth for her mouth. She can really never close it. It bothers me.
The problem with Kim is, because we've seen pictures in season 1, her and Barry, when they were young, you see when their kids really are beautiful. Attractive. They're both very attractive.
All the kids are attractive.
Yeah, you see that. And so, but Kim was wearing the same makeup that she wore as a teenager in the 80s that she's wearing now. And that's the problem. Because, like, you guys, the older you get, you don't need to put a bunch of eyeliner under your eyes like that. The way she does it, and it just kind of smears and smudges down. Don't put, Kim, if you're listening to this show, and you're not, because by now
you're not, because
you're already in your own prayer closet praying for us right now and screaming and crying and probably burning your ears. But don't put any eyeliner at your top. You don't need that. Get away from frosty eyeshadow. You don't need that. As we mature, we need less. What you could do, I think, if we filled in your brows a little bit, did some concealer and not so much as some foundation, and did just a really, honestly, kind of just a very soft neutral on your lip. I think that, and some canvas colors, and maybe a little bit of some bronze on the eye to get out that pinkness of your face, so you don't look like a tomato with lipstick on it.
But I must say, I don't know if it's rosacea or lots of blush. I wouldn't know.
If you have rosacea, you don't need to wear blush. I think a lot of people
I would agree.
They're like, oh, I need to wear blush. I'm like, honey, if your cheeks flush, don't put on blush. Now, if you want to put on some bronzer, you can do that.
Bronzer would help a lot for her.
Yes.
So let's keep going on with the kids. The oldest, besides next to Hosanna, who we're never going to see, is Ethan, otherwise known as Kenneth Allen Parcell from 30 Rock.
It's true.
He's so smiley, so innocent. He's married to Olivia.
He giggled the first time she ever gave him oral sex. He just went, oh gosh. Oh, you're doing it. Oh boy.
He is like an innocent fool. I love him.
But he's not dumb. I will say
no, but
none of these children are dumb, but also they are ignorant.
They're so sheltered.
They're so sheltered and they're so uneducated, but they're all smart.
The next we're going to talk about him a lot later, and Olivia. But Olivia's not from their kind of, because they're not in the family, because the family is the only kind of a religious group those kids know.
Yes.
Olivia was homeschooled, though. I'm sure she met him through some kind of homeschool socialization program, which they do have. And Olivia's a cool girl. She seems like she has coping skills. She even though she's Christian, she's not extremely kind of backward like a lot of Plaths are, even though they think she has very worldly ways, as they say.
Well, actually, she was, and you know, what's interesting about her is that it feels like she's 40 years old in a 21-year-old's body, and it's because
she does.
You know, she was raised really conservative as well, and she broke free of that and now has a better relationship with her family. And she talks about this, and so she really, like, we don't even know. I think
her thoughts changed a lot.
We could do a whole other show, I think, about her. It was really very, and maybe that's how they met. They both were in these very conservative families, conservative homeschooling, but it's just that she started to change.
Well, Olivia was the catalyst that made everything happen in the Plath family.
Mm-hmm.
Without Olivia, Micah and Moriah would have never really learned what it's like off the farm.
By the way, y'all, her name's Moriah. We call her Moriah because Kim spelled her name wrong. It's spelled M-O-R.
It is M-O-H. Or sorry, M-O-R-I-A-H.
That's
Moriah.
Moriah. It's not Mariah.
Mariah. It's M-A-R-I-A-H.
Moriah.
Moriah.
Which I kind of enjoy.
I kind of love Moriah.
I like more than Mariah.
Moriah.
What's your name?
Me too.
Moriah.
Mm-hmm.
Moriah.
My name is Moriah.
Moriah Plath.
So she is Moriah to us.
Yes.
And I'm not changing.
I think that should be her new name as she breaks away.
So let's talk about Moriah.
Let's talk about it.
First of all, season 1, Moriah is the breakout star of the show. She is 16 years old. Moriah is me. Moriah felt trapped in her family. Moriah gets overwhelmed by her feelings easily. Moriah is most comfortable by herself and reading a book. Moriah doesn't like the chores.
Well, she doesn't like to read a book. She's most comfortable like listening to music. She hates reading.
True.
Lynn likes reading a book. But no, I think Moriah, she very much is more you. I think both of us relate to her. Like in season 1, when they show her getting on a plane for the first time when she goes to San Francisco.
That's what I'm talking about.
That actually made me emotional watching it because I remember knowing this is not where I belong. I need to be somewhere else. And really, it was the first time I was a ring bearer at a wedding in California, in Los Angeles, when I was about 8 years old. And even then, I got on that plane. And when we flew back, I went, this is where I'm going to live. I'm not going to live. I'm going back here, but I'm going to move away and move to California.
And the male flight attendant did a dance. And you went, why do I feel a kinship with him?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's true. Mama, he gave me more peanuts. I don't know why. I do, son. Sit down.
Moriah is the breakout. She says things like, I feel like I feel caged here, and I feel like I just need to break out and explore. And when she goes back from San Francisco, which is where they go to the wedding, because Olivia's a wedding photographer and takes her as her assistant, basically just to expose her to the world.
She's like, I know she's not going to help me. By the way, if you don't follow Olivia's Instagram, her pictures are fucking gorgeous.
She's a great photographer.
She's a really good photographer.
Yeah. I don't know how anyone starts to work in that. Maybe it's some type of homeschool movement connection.
You know, I helped a friend that once who was a photographer, and by friend it was somebody that I met on
Pig for Pig.
Sui, and he just said, "Hey, I'm looking to take some pictures. I'll pay you." And I didn't ask how much, but I needed new headshots. I was naked. There was a light up, a butt plug with a light at the end. that said "Eat at Joe's," and I kept saying my name's not Joe, and he said, "Shut up, put your mouth on the ball gag. It doesn't matter."
Big boy.
And then I woke up and he didn't pay me. So just vet your photographers, everybody.
He had to throw those pics away too. It wasn't what he wanted.
Thanks. At least I know I did a bad job. I think
he gave you a Jack in the Box voucher.
I got to keep the ball gag.
There you go. That's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
So Mariah, y'all, she needs to break free.
She does.
She's got that spirit in her. I love every time she's a star. Every time she's on screen, even with that purple lipstick is a sign. She's got to run with the wild horses.
Well, we'll talk about, I'm ready to start talking about the episode. I think we got
to hit all the kids.
Oh, the younger ones don't matter. There's Tizzy and Mizzy and Fizzy.
Only Lydia and Isaac.
That's true.
Are only left. So Lydia is the next oldest.
Lydia is the good girl. Lydia she wears her hair like her mom's. Lydia loves to bake. She loves to do things with her mother. Lydia wants to just be so sweet to everybody. And when the first thing people say when they think of the name Lydia, they go, "She is so sweet." Lydia is me.
You're right.
Lydia is me in high school.
That is so true. And I'm Mariah.
Yes. Whenever we're going to talk about when Mariah and Lydia had the conversation, I'm like, oh, fuck, this is poodling me.
Oh, it's so real. That decision when they were washing dishes in season 1. And she's like, "I'm sorry you feel that way. I know it's just hard for me." She's like, "I don't know why I'm crying." And she's like, it's hard to take this kind of thing. And Olivia has so many strong feelings. And I will say, if Lydia had 3 beers in her, she'd go buck wild.
And I can confirm that. And then the youngest
boy we'll talk about, Isaac, who is definitely going to be gay.
You think?
Definitely. Yeah, because look at the odds.
I don't have that vibe from him.
I don't either, but I think it has to happen.
It's one of these kids have to be gay.
I want Isaac to be gay, even though I don't get it.
I want one of those younger daughters to just be like an indigo girl's bike riding.
And there are 3 younger daughters. There's a Mercy. Cassia. There's Mercy, Cassia, and Amber.
Now it's Maria, Pinta, and Santa Marina, or whatever.
Maria, the Nina, Pinta, and Santa Maria.
Pinta, and Santa Maria. There we go.
Might as well, because we're never going to talk about them.
It's going to
be the 3 little Village of the Damned girls.
That's all they are.
They're bargaining chips used by the parents.
Actually, that is what they are.
We're going to see. That's what they're best used as.
That is what they're best.
So, y'all, this is going to be a longer episode because we had to kind of talk about who these characters are. And know that we're going into this. Mariah has gone to live with her grandparents because she just can't be under her mom's thumb anymore.
That was the end of season 1.
Yes. Olivia and Ethan have come to odds consistently, but they're not allowed to see the kids without the parents there.
We should say that. He said Ethan and Olivia have come to odds with the parents.
Oh, that's not what I said? What did I say?
No, it just sounded like Ethan and Olivia were at odds with one another.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's not what I said. That's
not last season. Now, maybe in this season. But yes. And
yeah.
So, anyway, it's well worth, especially the last 3 episodes. And Micah's kind of thing was he was starting to venture into modeling.
Yeah. And I only wish we saw his modeling agent on this episode, whose name was, I'm going to fuck this up, something Dahl. Marcia Dahl. Marcia Dahl! Ethan, get in here. I am going to help you make a career. Look at my arms. They're like pipe cleaners.
I don't know why this woman is in Georgia. I do not know. Or is she Tallahassee, Florida?
Sorry, not Ethan. Micah, I'm going to make you a star. Feel this. But my vagina's as dry as the Mojave, but I'm here to make you a star.
Y'all, she looks like, it's like if she's a cross between Carol Channing
and that woman on the Old Navy whose commercials she used to say magic.
Yes, that's exactly the cross of it. Yeah, that's exactly who she is. Yeah, and so
God, I want to see more of her. Marsha Doll.
She was in one of Micah's Instagram posts the other day, so hopefully she will be.
Oh, God bless
She's
Marsha
good
Doll.
TV. So kind of starting this season, y'all, the big thing is
Now we're starting the episode.
the first episode, Micah has his shirt off. And that's, y'all, he's over 18. It's
He's
fair.
probably 19 now.
It's fair game.
And this is not a pedophile thing to say.
No.
And I will not respond to if you call me one, because I will drool over him.
He is.
His body's amazing.
And actually his face is too. His ass. I mean,
Isn't it unreal?
I
He's
mean,
genetically perfect.
I've barely climbed on top of a carousel horse, but I might have to call Bill Boulware for tips on that one, because I topped that. I mean, that ass is, put some vanilla ice cream on it, and that's dessert, y'all.
That is the truth.
Yes.
I will say as well,
Strawberry if you're feeling fancy.
I will say that he has like this kind of perfect face. He looks like a Bruce Weber boy. If you remember Bruce Weber in like late 90s, early 2000s photography, very Abercrombie look, perfect skin. And he loves, y'all, Micah loves being a thirst trap. As he said, I'm getting comfortable with my body. And if Micah, if you're listening, I would love to help you get more comfortable with your body. I can help you.
I'm glad that you've had sex today. Otherwise, you would have exploded when you watched that.
It's true.
So now, y'all, the big news is Micah and Mariah moved out of the house.
And they're renting a house.
They're renting a house 3 blocks away from the parents. I mean, the whole big deal is...
Because the parents actually moved after they rented their house.
So this is what I want to say to you about. This is kind of a little bit more of the overall of the show. But I'm interested in it. And come at us, sissies, if you know. So they want to protect their kids from the evils of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Why do a reality show? Did they do this show because they feel like it was going to proselytize their way of life?
That is a great question. I remember having that question as well. I would say that they're doing the show because they are whores.
For money.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that in a sex worker way. I'm saying it, they need money and they will do anything to get it.
I want money.
I want money.
I
don't care about the kids.
I
want money.
I want money.
That's what I want. God, I miss her. I miss that horrible human being. Just screeching about money.
I think you're probably right, but I'm just.
They're obsessed with money. They're obsessed with earning money.
They do seem, and it's yes. I mean, so they ended up selling their farm, and they live in this really beautiful home that apparently was decorated by Laura Ashley in 1984, and no one's touched it.
It's awful,
y'all. It is just Laura Ashley everywhere.
Tasteless. Yeah. So Mariah and Micah's house, looks like a crack house in the way it's decorated.
It looks like a crack house. Yes.
What would you do if you were living on your own at 17? You'd eat Pop-Tarts for breakfast too.
You know, I kind of was actually, because I mean, my mom would just come home on the weeknights, but she did a lot of training and working in Oklahoma City, kind of part time. So don't pull over. So really, it was just kind of me. So I didn't make Pop-Tarts, but I remember making things like hamburger helper and things like that, and cooking and stuff like that. So I have to say, I loved it. If you are a teenager that is living on your own, it is thrilling, because I didn't live on my own. So I wasn't paying my own bills and things. And we don't know what the family is contributing to monetary wise to this house and all that. But it was thrilling. But but also I wasn't out. You got to admit, I'm Lydia. So imagine if Lydia moved outside on her own. Lydia and we would get a nice dust ruffle for the bed.
Cook for your fellow people. I would party till dawn. I'd do everything my mother had never let me do. I'd drink sodas. I'd have completely illicit sex, which she has. which Mariah has. She has a boyfriend. We saw him and he's hot. We saw him in the
preview.
But I'd go fucking nuts. I'd go fucking crazy because that's what's my nature.
Kind of like you did when you moved to LA.
Yeah, kind of like that. Stayed out all night.
Y'all, Poodle was never home on a weeknight. After dark, she was out.
No. Oh, don't pull over. God damn.
Hail Mary.
We take a commercial?
Sure. Or no, we don't take a commercial. This is Patreon.
But it's going to be in the free feed.
Oh, we should. So before we jump in, so if you're listening on the free feed, we're going to take a commercial, and for our patrons, we're going to keep on going.
So basically, we find out a little bit in Moriah and Micah's on words. They had to move out because they were tired of their mom's rules and the idea of no internet, no phones, no anything. And it just to the parents like, well, yeah, we just made a decision. It's better for everyone because we don't want it rubbing off on the younger kids, which is sick. That really upset.
That is
because we can't control them otherwise. We can't control.
Yes,
we can't. If dissension rubs off, information must be kept under tight control.
Yeah, das ist
very Nazi Germany.
I'm all for parents having their own boundaries, but
these are walls.
Abandoning your kid because of when they're a good kid who hasn't done anything wrong, but just abandoning your kid, that's maybe one of the most abhorrent things I think a parent can do.
I'm going to say this now, and you're going to have to convince me otherwise. I have my own ideas about Papa Plath. She's a monster. Kim is a monster.
I think she's... Yeah, I think she's really, really damaged. I think actually Papa Plath stays more out of it.
He's an enabler.
I think he's just there to he's just play. Yeah, I don't think we'll ever see him kind of come down on things. I think it really is her, and it's her enacting so much of her trauma, and it's
this inheritance of trauma.
And again, it's either you've got to work through that, or it works on you. And she doesn't want to do. You can tell with sometimes the way the kids deal with emotions, that like when a bad emotion comes up, they can't tolerate it. Like they can't, like Lydia, like they can't feel it at all for very long. So literally, and this is why I think you and I relate to Lydia. Literally, your teenage child has to go make a prayer closet. So that's a place where they literally, like a fucking dog in a pen, so they feel safe in this prayer closet because the outsideness of the world is too much for them to tolerate.
Yep.
They're gross.
Yeah, I just have a real problem with Kim. Boy. It's going to be hard for me to convince she's anything besides a monster. I know people who have taken their kids and homeschooled their kids for specific reasons. And you can do that if the schools aren't where you think they should be, or you can do that too if you think you should have the especially when it comes to religion, if you feel like you need to teach your kids exactly what you should teach them. But boy, the extent that this family does it really bothers me. And they act like it's very normal.
Well, they act like, no, they don't act like it's normal. They do what my cousin Lolo does, not because she's a monster too. And not only do they act like it's normal, they act like what they're doing is superior.
Yeah,
and that what they're doing actually is a better way than the way everybody else is living. Ugh. And I feel like if you are living a life that ostracizes your child when your child has done nothing to intentionally hurt you or intentionally hurt anyone else, they're just trying to be a person, you're a piece of shit parent.
Because think about this, you guys. The younger ones don't they never leave the farm basically.
Well, and they take no responsibility. So the reason why Mariah and Micah have to leave is because Kim says we don't want them to, like you said, infiltrate the children because
so gross.
Kim,
I have to keep them pure.
Kim and Barry can't possibly. This is just the same thing that happened with Ethan. And I guarantee you, we probably would get some of this on Hosanna because she moved to fucking Ohio to get away from that.
Saying something.
And again, Kim is like, but I did nothing wrong. Barry and I did nothing wrong.
They will never admit that.
I don't want the older kids to put resentment in my younger kids' hearts. No, honey, your kids develop resentment when you didn't let themselves. Yes, they're going to come to that.
So the relation we see Ethan and Olivia. So y'all, Ethan grew a beard since last season, and it did something to me. I don't know what, and you and Maddie actually texted me and said, "I don't mean to be weird. Is Ethan making you feel things?" And I said, "Yes." I don't know.
He's very fit. He's just almost as fit as Micah. He just doesn't show off his body. Y'all, I feel like Ethan is going to be that dad. Come at me if you're at the community pool and the one dad you didn't expect came out with his shirt off and women and there was something else wet besides the pool.
Let's just say this. Ethan climbed. There was one scene in the when he was like throwing paper airplanes off of the roof. He grabbed something and like threw his whole body up there, and I went, "Oh!"
my lower intestines would come out my ass if I did that. It would just, it literally would just go, boom.
And there's something about him, even though he's got
you forgot about me down here. Could you come put me back in? Oh bother!
Got something in that beard, and he's kind of gotten kicked in the ass by the world now that he's not talking to his parents, really, because basically he and Olivia decided not to talk to them because they were so awful to Olivia.
Well, I think Olivia said toxic. I mean, he really is kind of the walking embodiment of a blonde-haired goofy.
He is, and he's so sweet.
No, I mean that in a great way. Yes, he's so sweet.
Y'all, it's huge. It's pendulous, as I say. It's a pendulous dong.
Hey, what are you doing? I'm over here. No, I'm still swinging over here. Hey, I'm a fucking one day. I'm a huge penis.
It is long when it's soft. And he takes after Daddy Plath more than any of the other boys. Micah, it's okay.
Micah's meant to be a bottom.
I kind of agree with that. I'm not going to talk about Isaac because he's a minor.
He's not. He's little. No.
But Daddy Plath has got BDF. Daddy Plath has a big dick, but Ethan's is the biggest of all of them, and it just swings back and forth. When it's hard, it's something to see. It's quite pink.
Okay, now I'm uncomfortable. Now you make me uncomfortable. That was the line. Well done.
So
well done. You never really done that.
Looks kind of like a baby rabbit when they've just been birthed.
Okay, so moving on. He is attractive, and he is.
Oh, I beg for it from Ethan now. I don't like to say that.
They are. But they live close to, and they were pretty annoyed that their parents bought a home, 0.3 miles away from them.
They're annoyed, and Olivia actually takes a different way to work, or they go a different way to town because they don't want to see them. So there's a lot of bad blood there. Bad lad.
Well, I think it is, and what we're finding out, and we get this a little bit, but I just think it brings up now that y'all, this is not a show about, oh my gosh, my parents are so strict, they won't let me do anything to go out with boys. It's about kids going out to the world and then coming back to their parents and saying, oh, holy fucking shit.
Why didn't you prepare me?
You didn't prepare us to live in the world, to like pay our bills, to be adults. Like we were
talk about sex.
Like we were completely just had to be built that from the ground up. And I think that's kind of what is the reckoning of tale is all the time. The parents that hide their kids from the evils of the world, but then they become worse than the thing that they're trying to hide everybody from.
Yeah, you're exactly right. The intention you're having to protect your children is actually backfiring.
Mm-hmm.
So
because it's a decision of fear. It's not a decision based. You make decisions, y'all, two ways, either in love or in fear. This is a fear-based decision, and it wasn't a way of protecting your child with love at all. I think it is, but it's not.
Almost all retreating from the world never really works if you're going to expect your children to actually join the world at one point.
It's true.
It's true. So basically, Olivia and Ethan don't have any access to their to Ethan's siblings at all, except for Moriah and Micah, who've moved out. They can't even see them without supervision, you guys. And so basically, the parents are using that as blackmail.
They are
just to be able to see it. That's why she's such a fucking monster.
She's a monster to use her kids. And under the vein of I'm trying to protect them, you're really right when you call them really Mitzi, Flitzy, and Ditzy, or they're just bargaining chips. That's all they are. Bargaining chips.
Nina, Pinta, and the Santa Maria. I like that for calling the little toe-headed ones. So next we see Lydia. They're in their new house, which is basically a compound. It's all near, and Lydia has her own prayer closet, which we talked about before, and she's praying that
man in the moon,
Tay in the wind,
Ethan
and Olivia come back into their. I pray for them. She doesn't even really pray for a specific outcome. She just prays for him because she remembers how much he made her laugh. And Ethan, when Ethan's gone, all the laughter is gone out of the house.
She's crying.
Weeping, yeah. So this is all taking a toll on Lydia's kind of like the emotional barometer of the Plath house. No one else gets emotional, even Mama Plath.
Mama Plath is not. And I think Lydia is, man, I hope she falls in love with the right guy or girl, or it's going to be rough for her.
I hope she falls in love with the worst like biker guy, and she learns, and she has to learn from her first relationship, or she falls in love with the guy who's bad
while she raises the baby on her own. Is that what you want?
Oh, that's true, because they wouldn't be able to abort. Oh no, you just ruined my image.
Yeah, let's hope she finds the right guy.
So anyway, the next thing I basically have is that Micah is shaving and talking to Helena, the model he met on the shoot with Marsha Doll.
Marsha Doll,
I'm going to help you.
Hello, everybody. Hello.
I look kind of like a praying mantis.
Micah comes out in just a towel, everybody.
And that's when we see his ass. And it is something to see. You're right. I normally would roll over and try to put my butt up against another ass, but I might try to do something to this.
I mean,
it's something to see. It's a little mound in the desert.
It might not be a full pickle, but even a gherkin could get in there. Come on, something.
So Micah loves himself, y'all. He loves his new body. He loves not new body, but he loves he's a thought. He's now an Instagram thought. And that's one of the phrases I had when people kept saying thought, I had to look up. Do you know what it means?
No, but I mean, I'm assuming I know what it means. I guess someone's a thought. Like
H-O-T.
What is it called?
An Instagram thought. T-H-O-T.
No.
It means that hoe over there.
Oh.
Like, I can't believe I'm telling you this, and I love it. That hoe over there.
Okay.
They say a thought. What did you think they meant?
I don't know. Like a moment, a meme. I kind of don't listen to you sometimes. I just kind of went on.
No, I'm talking about just articles when they say, yeah, she's such a thought.
I've never seen that word.
Then you haven't been online in the last year. Because
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it.
Thought.
No, we're gonna have a lot of sissies that are it's gonna be new to them for the first time.
And there's a lot of people who are gonna come for you and say, "How the fuck haven't you seen that word?"
I don't think so. I don't think there is. I don't think so.
Y'all come at us. Come at me. Come at me if you've seen the word thought in print.
I think it'll be new. He's gorgeous, and
All right.
he, what I like to see about Micah is there is though, and because of this, where he's raised, like he has no qualms with like flexing in front of the mirror, in front of the camera, and because
his body was, you should not show off your body because you should be. That's not modest.
And he's like, I've worked really hard on this, and I love this kind of this whole like, you guys, you can't have sexuality with other people if you don't have sexuality with yourself, and you
trust me. That's correct.
Trust us.
And so during the pandemic.
But so
I am my own best friend.
Oh God. But it's true. And I like that Micah's kind of, I think that's one reason why he likes modeling is because he's pretty, but also I think probably the more you talk to Michael, even the way he was flirting with this girl, he seems like a very sexual person, and it probably was very repressed. I loved it like it was kind of like when Ethan talked, was it in this episode or no? Was it last season? I just watched them all, so I'm combining, where he goes to play pool with his friends and he's talking about,
yeah.
And he talks about when his mom, when he was 19.
Yes, that was mortifying.
Or 20, his mom talked to him about sex. And he said it was so mortifying. And he said, trust me, any 20-year-old male already knows about sex.
Yeah.
Already knows. Like, and I don't actually think that's true. I think some don't. But I think Micah probably has been thinking about his sexuality. It's been exploring his sexuality a lot. And so this is, I think, a great, healthy way for him to do that.
It's very healthy for him. And he was never allowed to do it before. So, and he gets attention from it. So, of course, when you're 19, you're going to get any attention you can. Yeah. If I look like that, I would take shots like that consistently.
Please. I'd be naked in the middle of Chevys eating chips and salsa. Fucking naked. Would you like some queso with your balls? I mean, chips, sir? Yes. And with my balls. Thank you.
Like, sir, you have to put on a shirt. Well, I'm not coming here.
I'm not coming here. You can tell this manager at Chevy's I'm offended. Yes. I'm going across town to El Torito's. Thank you.
Where I can sit shirtless and enjoy my enchiladas rojas.
Thank you.
El Torito. I love El Torito. That cilantro dressing, I could drink.
I think is it closed? Did they close them? Or
I don't know.
I don't know either.
The last date I had with someone I've dated for a while was at El Torito.
Oh, it's good. It's good. They're
very good.
Their queso's good. It's no Torchy's Tacos. And y'all, if you haven't had Torchy's Tacos, you haven't.
Is that here? I've never heard of that.
Oh, it's in Texas now. It started like in Austin, but it's all in like North Texas and parts of Oklahoma. It's delicious.
That sounds like Tex-Mex.
Oh, it's so good. But their queso, it's
El
like
Torito is Mexican.
I know, but their queso is good Texas queso. It's like what
they don't have queso here.
I know, but I'm in Houston, okay, right now. I'm thinking of queso.
Don't bring your Tex-Mex garbage into this discussion.
Oh, bullshit. I've seen you in the middle of Chili's take a flour tortilla and then use it as a ladle just for queso. So you shut the fuck up.
I don't like it. Anyway, so we're moving on to he's talking to Helena, who's he said close friend, the girl he met on the model shoot with Masha Doll. And this is Corona time, so he's not getting a lot of modeling offers, obviously. So he's excited to do that. Then they decide, he and Moriah decide to go to mom and dad's house to pick up some mail. And they're hoping that mom and dad won't be there.
Yes.
And I thought it was so interesting. Moriah said this. Yeah, whenever you're talking to mom and dad, they always make you feel like something you did was your fault. And you guys, if you're around someone who consistently makes it feel like it just was your fault every time you say something, that's a toxic person. And you either need to change that relationship with them or not have that person in your life because they don't want the best for you.
That is the truth. I mean, did Barry and Kim do something right? Because I will say, Ethan, Micah, and Moriah
great kids.
They are such good people. They're not kids, they're adults, but they're also, in some ways, they didn't get this emotional intelligence, but they're so aware of it now, and they are this conversation with their parents. I could not stand up to my parents that way when I was 20 years old.
Oh my God.
And I could not articulate myself in that way when I was 20 years old. No way.
I totally agree.
Let's jump into that conversation.
Mariah's over there wearing pants that Kim calls questionable. I kind of agree.
Okay.
They're a little much for the day.
I'm going to say something about Mariah because people are asking me. They want to know what kind of makeup tips I want to give her. Like in San Francisco, her bronzer was terrible. It looked like she had a bruise on her face.
The first season makeup was awful.
It's still bright. There's things going on. Her taste is, y'all, this is it.
17. Remember that.
But no. She's 17 in age. But like whenever I, part of my and I knew this, but then we've talked about this on the show, but when I did my master's, I specified in like LGBTQ psychology, and part of the thing that we learned is this thing called developmental lag.
Not specified.
What?
Specialized, not specified.
What did I say? Specialized, yes. And so, well, it's a specificity, whatever. But there's this thing called there's this thing called developmental lag, and basically, it's a lot of you'll see now. Y'all know y'all have seen it. As I'm going to say this, a lot of gay men, you don't come out, you don't get the normal high school, you don't get the normal adolescent experience. So that's why you see 35-year-old gay men at Fiesta Cantina asking anybody if they want some of this while they rub their nipple and pour beer in their crotch.
They're 16-year-old girls.
That wasn't Jake Anthony at all.
Not at all. Not at all.
And so I think this is why
I was 29.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to come for Mariah about her makeup or her fashion choices because y'all, she needs this. She needs to go through this. She needs to figure out who she is because she is 17, but she's really a part of her is like 11 13. Years old right now trying to figure this out.
So they're at the house, and let's hold off on that conversation. I want to talk about her conversation she has with
I forgot about that. This was good.
And he and Micah has a similar conversation with Isaac where he's like basically kind of alone with him, and Kim is like sitting in the room. She's like, I love when you play guitar together. But Micah tells Isaac, question things, have your own ideas, don't believe everything they tell you. And it's so powerful, and it feels like almost like they're trying to get them to leave a cult. That's the way it kind of feels.
It is. And Isaac even says, well, I'm trying to stay out of it right now, which is true. Yeah. When you're in the house, y'all, I was just listening. I'm going to need to post that because I listened to it late. You'd already listened to it, but I was talking about that Brene Brown episode of where they were talking about being burnt out and feelings, but talked a lot about
stresses. Yeah.
But it reminded me that we talk about
Emily and Amelia Nagoski. Yeah.
We talk a lot about fight or flight, but as reactions to trauma, but we don't talk a lot about freeze. And, Isaac and Lydia, they kind of have to freeze right now because they're in it. They're the parents that give them money for food. Like if they fight it right now, they see what's happening. Their older sister got kicked out. We talk about the younger kids being bargaining chips. You don't think, and we don't see it, but do you not think that Kim holds over those kids' faces the way they have dismissed the older kids, and that will happen to them if they do the same thing?
Oh yeah,
for sure.
They're aware.
So Isaac's kind of like, I'm going to stay out of it, but I'll make up my own mind eventually. My favorite part is when I'm glad you had sex today, because otherwise, when Isaac said it's good to always have bro time, and Poodle would gone to a different place.
Yeah, I saw bro time as a different thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Lydia and Mariah, this is my favorite scene of this whole episode.
This is where I knew it was us.
And they were sitting there, and she's like, so you're dating anybody, or you have a crush on anybody? And Lydia's like, I can't even tell you.
You know what? We're not going to make fun of it. This is going to be our first time a true dramatic reenactment.
Oh, is this a Plathville theater?
We're going to do for the first time with earnestness. A 90 Day Gaze presents Plathville Theater. You did that. I was gonna do.
Nah, that could work though.
Anyway, okay. Poodle is going to be playing the role of Lydia. And
okay.
No,
Really?
I'm kidding. You're playing the role of Mariah. You're playing the role of Mariah, and I'm going to be playing the role of Lydia. So we're sitting in our bedroom, just sitting there, just hanging out.
So,
Hi, sis.
Do you like anybody? I know it's been a while since I've been around. You tell me.
I just, I can't say. I don't have a boyfriend. I don't.
Anybody tittle your quitter?
No, I can't say out loud. Mom and Dad don't hear me. I'm so scared. No, but not really. Just nobody. Just, cut to the producer. There might be someone special, but that's between me and God.
Wait.
Maddie,
Hopefully.
That's a translation. You know what that means? That means, and this is where I went, oh, fuck, I'm Lydia. She is in love with a boy who doesn't know who the fuck she is. And she's just praying that she's going to fall in love one day and have him as a husband. And I did the same thing.
Lydia has a very vivid online life. I am certain, probably in a homeschool organization. And she's got her eye on somebody because the fucking parents never really allow them to socialize. Maybe they do a little bit.
I was just waiting for Richard Vertrees to love me back. He was a pig farmer, and I was like, we could raise pigs together. I knew we could.
I just went out and said, hey, you want a hand with that?
Not me. I prayed and prayed and prayed for it, and it never happened.
And I think it was so interesting that Lydia said at the end.
Anyway, and saying,
you have a different journey than me. To Mariah. And that was such a beautiful thing to say. I teared up.
It's beautiful. I think because I've lived this experience, I think Lydia means it, but also it's not directed towards Mariah. I do think Lydia is probably the most anxious person in this family.
I agree.
It's all covering. She says, I really can't just, she says, I want you to have your own path, but inside she's like, and I'm just gonna stay here and drown.
I feel like she's the most on the edge, and she at any moment, if something really bad happened, like imagine that anything would happen to Mama or Daddy Plath, she'd lose her shit.
I mean, when Mariah said, do you have any other friends? And Liddy said, no, I just have a couple of teddy bears I talk to. I have that one sock that I painted in 5th grade that I still talk to. And I have you.
And the cucumber that no one knows about.
Oh, she's too scared to do that. That was me. Too scared. I'm telling you, I know Lydia. Oh,
yeah, you are Lydia. I'm Mariah.
Wow.
But
then Mariah says something beautiful that she says, again, I wish my parents could be like Lydia and have a different point of view, but let us both live our lives the way we want to live our life.
Why is that so hard? It's just,
I don't know.
Y'all, and dad is not great, but mom is a monster. Kim is
I think it's pretty equal terms, and we're going to see that when dad, because I actually think dad is worse in the talk with Ethan and Mariah than mom is.
So let's talk about, they say Ethan and Micah and Mariah are talking to them, and they're out on a weird like plastic table in the woods.
Get some furniture. You just sold your huge 50-acre just go to Osh. Go to Lowe's.
Yeah, if you sell 55 acres in Georgia, you're fine.
You're fine. Buy some fucking metal pretty. Even the family Chantel has pretty yard furniture. Come on.
So we know that they basically say that Mariah has a boyfriend, and they're both like, "Oh, really? That's nice. How's that going?" And she's like, "I'm not comfortable talking about this."
No. We've got to specify they are mind fucking her, and they're letting what they're saying to them is the horrible thing mom does is like, so he's like, so you've been busy with work, and he's like, yeah, and then she's like, and modeling. Awful. Basically, mom has been stalking them, and she has her friends that send all the everywhere. her friends send all of their Instagram posts and tell her, and she has friends telling all about what her kids are doing so she can find out.
Olivia.
Yeah. And so
she's has Stockholm syndrome. I think it was really interesting when
it's
mom
not Olivia.
like,
don't say that about her. I love Olivia.
Lydia, not Olivia.
Oh, Lydia. I thought you said, oh yeah, Olivia. So, Mom, I don't want to tell you this. Yeah. Don't. You know what Lydia is? This is Lydia.
Because I'm sure you were a tattler.
Should I tell my mother? Should I tell her? Yes, tell her. Tell her. It'll be good. Don't tell her. Just kill them. No, I don't know what to do. Please tell her. You kill them all. That's, oh my God. I just realized, y'all, Lydia is split personality.
We don't use that term anymore, but that's okay. Did you tattle as a child? I bet you did tattle on your brother when you were really young.
And my brother? Yes, because my brother was brutish, and my brother he'll tell you, he was horrible to me.
But you probably told on people, even in school.
No, I wasn't a tattler actually in school.
I wasn't because I'd be so afraid to do it.
Yeah, I was. No. I didn't want to call myself. Didn't want to call attention to that way.
But let's talk
now.
about.
I would. I did tell Brandy Buck one day that
Brandy Buck,
that Lee Daniels, not the director, but someone in my school named Lee Daniels, that he pissed on the playground, and I thought it was disgusting out in the corner. And I did tell Brandy Buck to tell Miss Griffin, and she did.
Why? It's not a big deal.
I didn't want to tattle, so I just mentioned it to Brandy Buck, and I knew she was a tattler. It was either her or Haverty Reed, and Haverty Reed would have told everybody.
No, don't be a tattle.
I never was. I just told other people.
You made it so someone else would.
Yep.
You were part of the problem.
Wasn't me.
So Micah, they're basically sitting there talking. They're talking about the boyfriend, and Mom's like, "Yeah, I've seen all the pictures." Ha! Yeah, because I've got spies everywhere.
Yeah.
And they're talking about her boyfriend, and he basically says, I just wish you guys had prepared us a little more, because all of us we're going to all have to get our GEDs. None of us have a diploma. And I guess
like, you did your schoolwork. You did your schoolwork. You did all your schoolwork.
The National Association of Homeschooling, because you get a diploma. And maybe they're not.
No, so then, what I don't think we know. Come at us, sissy homeschoolers, because y'all, homeschooling's fine if you feel like, oh, hell, you're all homeschooling now practically. Yeah. But that's fine if that's your choice.
And homeschooling kids go to college. I went to college with some homeschool kids.
Yeah, I don't think this idea, and come at us, we don't know. This idea of going to quote unquote homeschool, but then you still have to get your GED seems wackadoo to me.
It could be they didn't finish the academic.
Because Mariah wants to go to school, and she's like, I have to do more to prep to go to school. And you're right. I went to college with people that were homeschooled. They didn't have to extra prep.
No.
I mean, let's be honest. Kim's not a scientist.
No, I agree. But you notice that Mariah, we're talking about fight or flight or freeze. Mariah is freezing the entire time. She's so triggered by even just the parents' questions.
She's triggered. Really she is. Her. It really, her relationship with Mike is beautiful. How they really can.
Because I remember, this is not necessarily some with my parents, but especially with my extended family, when people who had said either bad stuff about me or things that people who didn't trust me or didn't really fit in, I would freeze. I wouldn't say a word.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the way I was coping.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And Micah is like, well, even with sex, Mom, she's like, what? We told you. She's like, we didn't feel comfortable talking really about, because you really weren't really amenable to all that. And they're like, you could have told us when we were like 11 or 12. And she told basically Mom told Ethan about sex on his wedding day. It's the parents have not prepared these kids for anything.
No. And the dad's like, oh, well, you're in the learning phase. That's the shit that the dad did that I thought was so shitty, where he kind of downplayed all their feelings, that their feelings really weren't that deep or important, that they were just kids.
Can you forgive us for our shortcomings?
And then, no.
Real or imaginary?
Yeah.
He said imaginary.
He did say that is what he said, perceived or real.
And then Micah's like,
and the mom's like, we poured ourselves into them. We try to do the best that we could. We try to do the best. But you know what? One of my favorite lines is they're talking and they're basically saying, well, what was it? It was the response where they said to Mariah said, but is that our problem?
oh yeah, it was like I don't know what it was, but it was so good.
It was so basically and there was also Ethan was like when the mom was saying like, well, you just have to be smart about things out there in the world. And Ethan says, or Micah says, well, can you give me an example of that? And that's when she says sex. Like they are so good at kind of pinpointing the specifics because they're both of these parents, especially Papa Plath, want to talk in these platitudes of life, but it's really just a way of like, y'all, there's something that, I mean, a lot of people do this. Sometimes not all religions do this, but some religions do of like, don't feel your feelings. Let your feelings, not that your feelings are unimportant, but like let your feelings just be washed away by your belief in God. And that's great using your faith to get you through things. But hopefully you use your faith to help feel the feelings and work through the feelings with hand in hand with your faith, not for your faith to be a blanket to numb you.
And that's
what the parents do.
They seem very numbed. And Micah even says, one of the last things he says to the parents is, I just ask you to please give our siblings a better chance. And it broke my heart. And then, of course, Papa Plath's like, well, a father's love is unconditional.
Unconditional.
Shit.
That's when he was a piece of shit. So I think the mother is the hammer. But he is this overarching, I'm so great, I'm never angry, I'm just gonna passive aggressive and gaslight you and make you feel like you're so stupid for feeling this way.
I hate Mother and Daddy Plath.
I don't like them.
I'm telling you all, the show is super compelling. If you haven't watched episodes 1 through 6, they're each about 42, maybe 46 minutes.
Okay. We didn't talk. Yeah, it's great. We didn't talk a lot about Olivia and Ethan because there really wasn't a lot of that. They just kind of.
There's a lot in the first season.
There is a lot in the first season. It's well worth the watch.
Papa Plath's relationship with Olivia and how they basically freeze her out.
Basically, and how, again, just to give y'all, so where now Mama Plath is basically blaming Ethan and Mariah for infecting her kids. Last season, it was all Olivia. Micah. Sorry, there's too many. Last season, it was all Olivia. It was Olivia's fault of why Ethan wanted to do. Olivia's fault that why Micah and Mariah wanted to go away. It was all Olivia's fault.
Now Micah and Mariah are the new Ethan and Olivia, basically.
But I agree with you. I'm interested to see. I don't think Lydia's going to break out of it this season. Do you?
Really one or two.
I don't think so. It's a long road to go with that hairstyle.
That's fair. With that little braid.
It'd be more contemporary if we were closer.
Sister wife. She's still quite sister wifey. And that bothers me.
It is.
Y'all, it's gonna be really hard to get her out of that prayer closet.
It is.
I'll just say that now.
It is.
So that's the show.
That's the show. We're gonna have a theme song next time. Promise. We've got it picked out.
Anyway, that's the show. Y'all, you can follow us at 90 Day Gaze on Instagram, Twitter, or any other.
Because we're changing our name, and as y'all know, y'all come name us. Come name us. We've got that in the show links.
Because Discovery came for us, and so we need to.
We've got to change our name from 90 Day Gaze because we've got a legal cease and desist. So come for us, help us change our name, and it's going to actually help broaden us. We think to do more shows like this.
Yeah,
keep doing Smothered.
So think big and broad.
Yes, our Bi-Curious of Mama's Boy. We're going to do that show when we're together. So that is coming, by the way, Gatrons. Basically, we're going to do that later this month when we're together because there's going to be singing if we've got to talk about that one
There
guy.
needs to be singing if we're going to talk about Love of Mama's Boy.
Yeah, we're talking about Mama's Boy. So, y'all, that's the show coming to us on Cameo 2. Patrons. We have a lot of new patrons. So, actually, real quick, we should
join because of
Plathville. So we should jump real quick and let people know if you're interested, if you're new to the Gatreon, welcome. We appreciate you so much. We want to remind you that if you're listening, especially like on Apple Podcasts, there are 2 feeds to this podcast. So there is the free feed that is our blue little logo that says 90 Day Gays. Then the Patreon, if you go on to Patreon and then when you get that email when you join, it says listen through your podcast player, whether it's Stitcher or Apple Podcast or TuneIn or whatever. That feed, it's a different podcast. So it's going to be different cover art. It says Gatreon.
Yeah.
Don't be a Carl's wife and say, I'm listening to the free feed and I can't find Plathville episode. That's because it's on the Patreon feed. It's 2 different. They're not all in the same feed. It's designed that way, not by us, but it's the best way for us.
And y'all, and if you do have a problem, if you're in a sissy squad, just ask that there. Someone will easily. Don't clog up our fucking DMs.
We try to help, but we'll be the last to help. But usually a sissy can help quicker. We're working on that. We've had a sissy who's helped with that, so we're getting some information about that. But so yes, and if you're new to the Gatreon, you're at the $5 tier listening to this, or the $8 and the $50. It's for every tier. The $5 tiers are binges and things like this. If you jump to the $8 tier, that's going to be Love After Lockup.
You'll get Lalu.
You'll get Lalu.
Yes,
you'll get our Bi-Curious, which is once every month. Eventually, we're planning on probably in the next year doing 2, but we just...
Yeah, it's probably going to be soon.
It's probably going to be soon. And then, and if you're at the $15 tier, you're going to get our videos of a watch along when we're actually watching 90 Day Fiancé. We have a lot of fun doing that.
That's frolic.
Watch us frolic. And you're also going to get our YouTube lives that we do once a month with y'all with just at the $15 tier. And then you're also going to get, you're going to be able to call in to get a
Sissy Spotlight.
Sissy Spotlight that airs on our free show that you've heard before. And you all get merch discounts with that too. And if you're interested in merch, I normally should tell you to get it now, but I would say y'all need to wait like a week or 2 because TeePublic, they're going to have a bunch of sales and shit coming up of the entire store. So wait then. But you do get a discount code with the Gatreon. So I should email those out again so people have them. Anyway, that's it.
That's it, y'all. What should be our Plathville sign off?
The
more kids, the better.
No. We're going to work on this.
Blonde is beautiful.
We're going to work on this.
All right, y'all. Bye.
Bye.